Hi and welcome to No Excursions, the section on bucket list guides where we do real port days with no tour groups and no stress. And today we're walking straight off the ship into Rhodes in Greece. Let's go. Rhodes is one of those rare cruise stops where you don't need a plan, a guide or a bus. You can step off the ship and you're already beside one of Europe's best preserved medieval towns. It's flat, easy and full of shade, cafes and history at every turn. You can take your time, there's no rush here. Even on a short port call, you can see a lot without feeling hurried. And the best way to explore is simply to wander. However, to make your time a little bit more efficient, we will go through some of the main sites that Rhodes Town has to offer next. The Street of the Knights is one of Rhodes' star attractions. It's a perfectly preserved medieval avenue built in the 14th century by the Knights of St. John. Each grand stone building once housed knights from different countries, France, Italy, England and others, and their coats of arms are still carved above the doors. A reminder of just how international this island once was. Walk slowly, both because the cobbles are authentic and can get slippy, and head uphill towards the Palace of the Grandmaster at the top. It's a short climb and it does get hot, but it's well worth it. By the time you reach the end, you've literally walked through 600 years of history and earned yourself a nice coffee break on the way back down. At the top of the old town, you'll reach the Palace of the Grandmaster, easily the most impressive building on the island, Lindos Acropolis notwithstanding, and it was built in the 14th century by the Knights of St. John, destroyed by an explosion and then rebuilt by the Italians in the 1930s. So it's a bit of a medieval remix, but still breathtaking. This is the fourth time that I've been to Rhodes. Behind me you can see the Palace of the Grandmasters, and no matter how many times you come to a city like this, it never gets old and you never get bored of it. Hope you enjoy. Inside there are mosaics, marble halls and enough echo to make you whisper whether you mean to or not. Entry is around €20 with discounts if you qualify, and it's worth every bit just for the cool shade and the views from the top. After you've cooled off or got your pictures, a few minutes downhill from the palace is the Archaeological Museum, and if you're melting by this point, it's also a perfect stop. The building used to be a hospital of the Knights of St. John, and stepping inside feels like entering another century. Thick stone walls, shady courtyards, and the sound of your own footsteps echoing off those vaulted ceilings. Well, the exhibits are good and they range from statues to mosaics from nearby islands, but honestly, the building itself is the real showstopper. Even if you're not normally a museum person, this one's well worth it for a quiet break from that midday heat. Back outside, and Sokratous, if I've said that right, street, is where history meets shopping. It's the main artery through the old town and it's lined with souvenir stalls, leather shops and cafe terraces shaded by vines. Even with 4 ships in port, it didn't feel overwhelming, just the right mix of bustle and atmosphere. Just a little tip, the best food and quieter courtyards are often a block away from this main street, and the menus are more handwritten than laminated, and the prices are a little bit more palatable, and so is the food. If you've still got some energy left or just want to break from the crowds, the medieval city walls give you one of the best views in Rhodes, and they're always quieter. Parts of the walls are open to visitors, and to be honest, you can just walk around near them, around the outside of the city, and you're going to get a little view of more authentic Rhodes Town life than you will on the main shopping streets. It's not a long walk at all, maybe 20 minutes, but it can be uphill, and the stones, of course, are uneven. We walked around in late morning, and I'll be honest, it was warm enough to make you consider medieval life in full armour, and we didn't have to consider it too much because there are actually people who you can have a photo taken with who are dressed in medieval armour. We didn't ask how much it costs, but it does cost, just to make you aware of that. And if after walking through Rhodes Town, you still have some energy, if you step back through the marine gate, it brings you straight into Mandraki Harbour, which is the postcard side of Rhodes Town. It's where you see all the pictures, and it's where you're going to see your cruise ship if you're on a cruise ship. Tradition says that the Colossus of Rhodes once stood here, which is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, but that it was knocked down about 70 years after it was built by an earthquake. And if you follow the path out along the breakwater, you're also going to reach 3 restored windmills and St. Nicholas Fortress. It's one of the easiest scenic walks in town, and you can do it in flip-flops if you're careful. Although it's not the best beach on the island, Rhodes Town does have a beach, Eli or Elli Beach, and it's about a 15-minute walk from the port, or 5 by taxi if it's a scorcher. And it is one of the cleanest, but it is also one of the easiest beaches to get to from the town. The water is clear and there are lounges and umbrellas for hire, and plenty of beach cafes that will happily keep you topped up with drinks. Now we're adding this because this is basically one of my most favourite places in the world. And if your ship is in port for 8 hours or more, Lindos is the big day out option. It's about an hour journey from Rhodes Town, but it's worth it if you want that classic Greek island postcard view. White houses stacked on a hillside, turquoise water, and an ancient acropolis on top. You can take a taxi for about €70 return, or catch the local bus for about €6 each way. We priced both, and honestly, it's better value if a few of you can share a cab. Climbing to the top of the Acropolis takes about 15 minutes, and don't do this, you can let a donkey do the hard work. Either way, the views from the Acropolis are unreal. Down below is St. Paul's Bay, which is one of the clearest waters we've ever seen, and we live in Asia, so that is saying something. And it's perfect for a swim and a cold drink before heading back. Just make sure that you leave by 3 to catch a 6 p.m. sail away. Rhodes really is one of those dream cruise ports where you can walk off the ship and start exploring right away. Everything, the castle, the cafes, the harbour, even the beach, is within easy reach. You don't need a guide, a tour, or a timetable. Just sunscreen, some water, and a sense of adventure. So if you're planning your next cruise stop, skip the shore excursion and give Rhodes a go on your own. You'll save some money, support the local cafes, and probably come away with better stories. So that's it from Rhodes, and thanks for watching. If you enjoy travelling independently, check out our other no excursion guides around the Med, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one, which will be Patmos.